Hey guys, so I'm not sure if this is working because I had to reverse my camera, so my phone's turned around and I'm out the back of the camera, but I know that I had started a book on Wattpad with all my races that I've ever built, and for the sake of my readers who are reading Barbarian Mind, and they get confused and they want to know what the races look like and everything else, so I figured I would I was going to upload, I actually have all my notes for all my races built on a PowerPoint slide, and what I did was I would upload each race's information into one chapter on Wattpad. Well, I didn't want to do this because I didn't want the information on Wattpad to where it could easily be copied, since these are my ideas, except for the pictures that I got off Pinterest, which are made by the other artists, and I only use those as a reference point, not as the actual image for the races themselves. But so anyway, so I thought I would start going through the PowerPoint and show you guys, what my races are and about each of them. I'll do them in segments, of course, because I have like over 150 races, probably more than that, built, so it's obviously too much to do in one recording. So here goes nothing. Okay. So obviously in the Dragon Empire, the main race in this series is Dragon Empire, also known as Imperials. Anyone can become a Dragon Empire citizen, but it's complicated. Typically, Imperials have dragon blood due to breeding and in previous injections thousands of years ago. Sometimes you'll see an Imperial that's a humanoid dragon or variations thereof. So the two pictures that I have, this is the picture reference that I have. If you can actually see it, I don't know if the video is very clear. For the main villain, his name is Veronius. He has a sister named Alada, and this is what Alada looks like. She's got blonde hair. She's actually fully humanoid. She has no dragon scales. Sometimes they can be human looking, but with dragon scales. This is a senator known as Thaddeus. He is the imperial historian, and I think he's also the spy master. No, I think he's just a historian. I can't remember. But anyways, that's Atticus. He's very big. He is a humanoid dragon. Like I said, there are variations between the two. I don't remember if I have the Imperials all the way built yet. Usually I go through these what I call race building worksheets, and I answer the questions, and it tells me more about their people. I think I have built them. So the actual name in their language is Drakari, which means dragons. I mean, it's very basic. Drakar is the base word for dragon. So I guess the Re part would be the S, the plural. They're famous for being the largest empire to conquer almost half of the known galaxy. They're really arrogant people. They love luxury and money. Think ancient Rome. Like I said, I already explained their looks. They're humanoid or human with scales and a tail, horns, claws, or talons of a dragon. They can be fully humanoid if they have a lot of dragon blood. They're tall, sturdy, curvy humans. The men have their hair short and often clean-shaven, which I think I actually changed, but whatever. The women keep their hair long, typically curled into ringlets. Most often than not, they will have hair in blonde or brown colors, but most of the time they'll actually dye their hair multiple colors to, luxury and whatever. They're mostly clean-shaven unless they're soldiers that have been in a long campaign. Clothing, they get imported stuff from all over the galaxy, so even their clothing and jewelry and belongings literally comes from all over, literally exotic and from all over the galaxy. Dragon blood makes them really strong, which gives them the instincts of a dragon, so sometimes that means that they're cruel people, but it always means that, the most rich and unfighting citizens could fight using only their instincts if they had to. Like, if you're rich and you've never fought in your life and you're just like a big fat senator like Thaddeus that doesn't do anything with your life, and you have no training in fighting whatsoever, you could actually use your dragon instincts to actually fight and hold off people, and you'd be stronger than most regular humanoid races. So God created them. They have their own set of fake gods that they believe in. They're polytheistic with one god for pretty much everything, with multiple gods for everything. I actually worded that wrong, but I emphasis on fake gods, which also has a special storyline. They're intelligent, but pride often gets in the way because they think they're better than everyone else. They're wise, and most Imperials use their wisdom to be cunning and conniving and stuff and deceptive. They can be rather charming, especially with other races within the Dragon Empire. To other race, they're really too arrogant for other races to see them and they to see them as anything other than arrogant, and they also often see any other race that's not really in the Dragon Empire as lowly and barbaric. Their dragon blood makes them stronger than humans. They have a high constitution, though they can still get sick, especially with dragon diseases. Their strength makes them less agile, but they move quicker than you really would expect them to. They're not very dexterous. They have very, very low morale. They'll do whatever they want, and that's usually something that isn't moral at all. They get excited when others are hurt and when they get what they want. Their accomplishments is basically building an empire that threatens the entire galaxy. They've won too many wars and lost too many wars to actually list out, which I'm going to detail their history at some other point. Larger and faster spaceships that look like dragons and are tough as dragons are some of their major achievements. Some of their customs and stuff, they work very hard to keep their empire running. They love politics, especially higher class politics. They spend their days doing whatever they want to whomever they want without a care in the world. Many of them are so arrogant that they believe that they're completely untouchable. They live in any planets within the Dragon Empire's inner worlds and often travel between all of the inner worlds for work and leisure. Traveling planets to them is literally nothing. It's like walking across the street. They have an oral and written language as well as an advanced number system, though they mostly adhere to the language which is called Common, which everybody knows. Unless they're in the temples, then they speak their language and do... and speaking anything else within the temples is considered sacrilege, so they don't ever do that. Relations with other races is good if their race is within the Empire. If race is not in the Empire, their relations is really terrible. Some of them, the only magic that they have that would be considered sort of magic is that some of them are were-dragons, which can change into a full-blooded dragon, like a big roar giant thing, under a full moon. Their habitat is the Empire Inner Worlds, which I think there's 40 of them that I've built. The terrain is literally, most of them are mega cities of some sort. The climate is usually pretty controlled, temperate, like what they want it to be. Dracaron is the imperial capital in the center. Their homes are mostly cities. They use the most luxurious items in the galaxy, such as dragon glass, glass steel, or dragon crystal, or I think it was iron steel or glass steel, actually. In other words, they're made from simple... They look very simple. There is a saying that all Imperials fight soldiers on the battlefield and the politicians in the Senate houses. So, they usually always fight. The men can have more than one wife. Higher class men often have wives that are other races for alliances with other worlds. Those are often considered less than slaves. Imperial women can have a husband, but she can only have one husband, though it isn't unnatural for both men and women to use their slaves as well. This practice is not uncommon. If slaves are impregnated, they are bred, used for more slaves, or used in the distant world armies. If an imperial woman is impregnated, then the child is tested. If it's a child from a slave, then the same is done to them, except the father is killed, so he isn't a threat to her husband, kind of thing. Nothing is done for the woman because the imperial women can do as they like as well. So that's about the Dragon Empire. That's all I've got built. I'm going to take you guys over to my galaxy map. Okay, so far this is my galaxy map. That big thing in the middle is called the Void, and I'll talk about that in greater detail in another video, but the center of the Void, that is where the Valiant Galaxy takes place. That's the Valiant Galaxy. But we're not talking about that. So a little bit up from the Void is this is the constellation that makes up the Dragon Empire. This is the Dragon Empire's Imperial Worlds. The pink ones that make up the outer rings, the symbol is actually a sun, which is the pink ones, with a half moon in the center of the sun, and a star in this next to the half moon. This is the imperial symbol. It is on all their armor. It's a sun. It's literally a star and moon within the center of a sun, which is the symbol of the Dragon Empire. Long ago, the first Dragon Emperor captured galaxy dragons, which, yes, they can fly between planets. They're really cool. He used them, there's a story behind that, but anyways, summarized version, he used the dragons, and they pulled the planets that he wanted to be in his imperial inner worlds, and they pulled them and arranged them in this symbol that he wanted, and each world that they used, that they pulled, that he picked out, was literally any world that he could find in the entire galaxy that had to do with dragons, which means that I literally have to tweak dragons for each world 50 times, or 40 times, because there's 40 different worlds in this little cluster. Each dot obviously is a world. That's a lot of dragons. I haven't got them all built yet, but I'm currently working on it. You wouldn't believe how many times I've actually managed to tweak dragons already, so... anyways, so they pulled them, they arranged them the way that the first emperor wanted, and this basically became the inner worlds where all the fancy people live. This is all considered the Dragon Empire's inner worlds. The yellow ones are the most important ones, where the rich citizen, only rich, most prominent citizens in the Dragon Empire are allowed to live on there. The one star, right, oops, I took that, oh gosh, that's not good. Anyways, this one right here is the Dragon Empire's capital, which is Dracaron. That's the main capital, which is actually the main place where you go to in the second book of the series, called Imperial Might. All of these are the inner worlds where the richest people live. These are the inner world. This is all considered inner worlds, but these are the most prominent here, the yellow ones. Hey, the image finally cleared up. So this is the Empire's inner world here, and only the citizens of the Dragon Empire can live here, outside of, slaves and stuff like that. So, and this is just one solar system in the known galaxy, which I don't have all my solar systems built, obviously, but that is the size of the galaxy. I don't know if you can see it, but I have numbers written where the solar systems are supposed to be. At solar system number 44, I've actually got 50 planned. Down there is another one I'll talk about, where the world Tython, which is going to be the one, most of the one featured in the third book of the series, is going to be. That's another one I randomly drew a symbol. Anyway, so Dragon Empire, this is it. This is where the Dragon Empire's inner worlds are. So, those are my Imperials. Thanks for watching my very first video about my races. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and let me know if you want me to continue with talking about the other races.